Fokker 5, Mike Kilo, contact San Francisco Tower 120.5.
Go on over.
Clear 10 Bay approach, Southwest 554 is 7.7 per second. We have our Clipper traffic in the airport site. Southwest 554, fall to 747, caution wake turbulence, cross middle ladder above 4,000, clear tiptoe, visual approach from wake to a left. Alright, one middle ladder above 4 and clear tiptoe visual, Southwest 554, follow Clipper.
I guess you could say that flying has come a long way since this lady first took to the skies. She's a B-25, a medium bomber, known to most of us as a Mitchell. This is a J model, Army Air Force serial number 4486791, built in Kansas City of June 1945. Once only yesterday, it seems, if you spoke about aircraft, you meant military aircraft, because it was military command of the air that pushed ahead with the development of airplanes like this. And only yesterday, it seems, a generation of young men left their office desks in Brisbane and Philadelphia and Alice Springs and walked off their farms across America and Australia to learn the deadly business of war flying. Before them, there'd been only the first of the few. The World War I aces and the barnstormers, the visionaries who crossed the oceans and dreamed of a day when the whole world would take to the air. But I don't think their imagination would have gone this far. No.
2 hours down the freeway from San Francisco, there's a hangar pushed to the end of the airport at Stockton. It's here that this B-25 has idled away the past year and a half, waiting for the injection of money that will see her finally readied for her last big adventure, out alone across the Pacific to a new life in Australia, a flight with all the potential for disaster and loss of life. But if there is such a thing as immortality for airplanes, then this B-25, with luck, should have it. And it'll come about because 15 million people, all Australians, have so decreed it. Through the Australian War Memorial in Canberra, they now own her. And these men are her custodians. Bruce Andrews, Randy McFarlane, Peter Anderson and Rusty Steele, Paul Weston, all five will be making the flight. Milo de Grassi won't be. As a qualified aircraft mechanic, he works for Aero Nostalgia, the outfit that operates the hangar. It's owned by Jim Ricketts and his wife Jan. They belong to a small but influential group of Americans who see that old aircraft are not just metal for scrap, but a part of a nation's heritage.
Jim, telephone.
Minute.
It's the bank. They want to talk to you again.
At the end of World War II, a new race to be the highest and fastest began. Piston engines gave way to jets. Old planes began to die in lonely places, stripped of armaments, engines, instruments, anything of value. But now and then, some survived.
Give us those lines on ladder, will you? Okay.
In the early 50s, after sitting for 2 years in the Arizona desert, along with thousands of other aircraft, she was dropped from the Air Force inventory and sold off for $983.58. Now in the company of only a handful of her type still flying, she's worth somewhat more than that.
Everybody clear?
The first time out in more than a year. 18 months earlier, after a hard-working life in Alaska, she'd been flown down from Seattle, Washington, where she'd been fitted with new radial engines. Not brand new, but reconditioned. Wright Cyclones haven't been made in a long time. If they've not been run in a while, big radials like these collect engine oil in the lower cylinders, and this has to be bled off. So it's all hands to the props, like some ritual act of appeasement to the great god machine. There's a schedule to keep, a proving flight to the Grand Canyon to iron out the bugs. So, with fingers crossed, they prepare to fire her up.
Journey to exotic lands every day on the Discovery Channel.
Everywhere you look, products are packaged for value and convenience. It's true of donuts, bars of soap, cases of soda, even long distance has been packaged for value and convenience. With AT&T's Reach Out America plan. It gives you long distance by the hour, not by the mile. Just phone 1-800-433-9990 to get an hour of AT&T calls every month, all across the country, to any other state, all for our lowest price ever, just $8. You can call as far as Hawaii, Puerto Rico, and the U.S. Virgin Islands, even Alaska. They're all packed into Reach Out America. So are your faraway friends and family. And you can talk to them all every month if you're willing to spend just $8. There's just one thing to remember. In order to get an hour of calls every month, all across the country for just $8, you have to call during the plan's hours. But that's the easy part, because the plan is packed with hours. You get all day Saturday and Sunday until 5 p.m. So while you're relaxing on the weekend, you can relax on the phone. You can even call every night starting as early as 10 p.m. You can use your hour any way you like, and extra hours cost even less. It's all packed into Reach Out America. And it can be yours if you phone 1-800-433-9990. Do it now to get an hour of AT&T calls every month all across the country for our lowest price ever, just $8. There's even a way to get a 15% discount on calls as early as 5 p.m. To order the plan that could help your long-distance dollars go farther, call toll-free 1-800-433-9990. That's 1-800-433-9990.
I'd like to order AT&T's Reach Out America.
Call now and enroll in AT&T's Reach Out America, the long-distance plan that's packed with value and convenience.
ESP, stigmata, reincarnation, and clairvoyance. Do they really exist? Meet the people who have experienced these unusual phenomena as Arthur C. Clarke and the Discovery Channel venture into the world of strange powers. From clever con artists to true believers, gain a new understanding and appreciation of the mysteries of our world.
Stereo 104 forecast. Thunder showers tonight, 50% chance of measurable rain, partly cloudy tomorrow afternoon.
God. God, look at this crap.
Liquid sunshine, man.
Is this like home?
What, you live in a refrigerator?
Right.
Mine for freezing.
So am I.
Today, 3 of them head off to San Francisco. They're on a hunt for spare parts, hoses, valves, cables, whatever's on Rusty and Milo's checklist of things needed now, or anything that might one day prove useful back home.
Going to Australia and you've come for some radios.
Yes, sir.
You did call us today. Okay, these are the radios you need to get to Australia with. When are you leaving?
In about a week or 10 days next
Oh,
week.
Both checked out okay.
they work just fine.
That's terrific.
Hello, got the parts for you. Somewheres. Let's see. Yeah, right, here they are. Good on you.
Outstanding. Outstanding. We can now get going.
Oh yeah, we got that Lodestar all.
Scrounging is now a vital part of the process of keeping an old airplane flying. But back then, things were different. In May of 1940, President Franklin Roosevelt called for the production of 50,000 warplanes. Boeing, Martin, Douglas, Consolidated, and North American all rose to the challenge. Just 3 years later, from its Inglewood, California plant alone, North American had flown nearly 2,000 B-25s off the production line. Maximum effort, the American way. The Grand Canyon flight has assured them all of the airworthiness of their plane, even though there had been some annoying radio problems. But now, time is of the essence. They must finish up at Stockton very quickly before the winter storms come pounding in from the Pacific.
He's giving me this line of shit. Well, my desk is kind of busy, and, you know, it might take me a couple weeks to get a chance to look at it.
There it goes. What's involved with the initialization of the unit?
You told me you always like lying on your back. Can't you get under there? Can you see?
See, I can't breathe.
All this stuff. He said, well, it's been approved out of your office. I said, well, you know, still I gotta, you know, review it, see if there's any changes that need to be done. I can't, may not be able to get removed off of these airplanes just to conserve on the extra fuel that you burn because of the extra weight.
How many machine guns, if any, were in this airplane?
Okay, you've got the one in the nose. There's a machine gun turret that sits up on top. It's like the little bubble you see on the side of the PVY, but it's round and it sits on top of the B-25. You had two there, and then you had one on each side on the waist and the back, and then you had two in the tail. The bomb bays, where you used to carry bombs and stuff, they're going to carry 1,000 gallons of extra fuel in the airplane. And they'll probably arrive in Hawaii with maybe an hour or two left of fuel, which is a small margin if you're trying to hit a small island out there in the middle of the Pacific. And it's a little difficult landing on water with these airplanes.
Where do you want it? Just on the port side then? Take it to the opposite side.
I was going to put it right forward.
All right, you tell us when.
Great job. Hey, come back with it. Back.
Don't put your hands under this.
We're not high enough.
Right?
Lift up on the back.
Whoever is stand up, the guy does the butt.
Hey, what's your name? You know, I want to write a receipt for this UPS pass.
I'm Randy, you're Rusty, that's Peter.
I said it's Peter Anderson. How do you spell it? I said P-E-T-E-R.
50%
He wrote P-E-T-E-I. I thought, Mr. Reese here is telling me all about American, so I said, it's P-E-T-E-R. And he goes, oh, R! R!
I went to a little more work.
How to get back all tomorrow to get
That's not what we had. Hey, where's that lid? I'd just like to propose a toast to our friends from Australia, our brothers, and Godspeed to the crew that's going to fly the B-25 back. Good luck to all of you. We'll drink to that. Thank you very much.
Before the fighter planes get here, and the consulate from the Australian government, and Glenn Ford, Jim and Milo and I have put together an award that we'd like to give all of you for the project that you've done here, putting the airplane together and taking it to Australia. Oh, you're welcome.
I'm not going to give you a
Hey, that's paisanos, man. We all are going to
All right.
Thank you for the birthday.
The Hawker Sea Fury, the end of an era. There was probably never more horsepower under the seat of just one man. When in the 1960s the Australian Fleet Air Arm decided to scrap this last and fast and beautiful piston engine fighter, Lloyd Hamilton was waiting.
Well, I brought this thing. You want me to wear this rascal or stay the way I am? My Aussie hat.
For the 5 crew members, today is their moment of truth. Perhaps not a very big moment in the global scheme of things, but everyone at the hangar this wet morning knows what is being attempted. Glenn Ford no less than the others. In the 40s, the war had taken him to Australia and the Southwest Pacific with the United States Navy, to places the B-25 crew soon hopes to see.
Hello, Peter.
Ford, this is John Mel Hewish.
Hi,
This is Australian Consul
honored to
General.
meet you. How are you? Captain Andrews, this is a letter from the President of the United States to our Prime Minister. Would you please take it to Mr. Hawke? And also, I want to say how proud I am to be here today. I served in World War II, and none of you could have served in World War II because you're all younger than me. Sorry, you're wrong. So Mr. Ford and me. And this goes to show that the amount of traditions between the United States and Australia are still living on.
Oh, yes.
And thank you once again, and good luck and every good fortune.
Oh, yes, indeed.
On behalf of the B-25 crew, all of us, I'd like to thank you and have much pleasure and honour in taking this with us back home to Australia and delivering it to our Prime Minister, Mr. Hawke.
Right on.
Thank you very much.
I'll see you gentlemen in Hawaii. No, don't worry about that. We'll just sit down some food.
Very proper.
The North American 906 Hotel, Stockton Ground. Taxi to runway 29 right. Confirm you have information, Papa.
Okay, sir. How soon will we be ready to make your run, sir?
North American 906 Hotel. Cleared for takeoff, runway 29 right. Have a good flight to Australia. It's been nice having you aboard.
Please volunteer for the American Red Cross.
The New Yorker. It's been called the best magazine in the world, probably the best magazine that ever was. See if you agree. Call this number and get 52 weekly issues of the New Yorker for just $25.95. That's $50 less than the cover price. Week after week, the quality of the New Yorker speaks for itself.
Call 1-800-TDC-8343 for 52 weekly issues of the best magazine in the world. Yes, the New Yorker.
When you have trouble falling asleep, take the sleeping aid ingredient that's the doctor's choice. The one in Sleepinol, not in Unisom. In a survey, 7 out of 10 doctors chose the sleeping aid in Sleepinol. Sleepinol contains the doctor's choice to fall asleep fast.
This woman has an irritating rash that's inflamed and itchy. She's using maximum strength Cortisone 5 to go deep below the skin's surface. Cortisone 5 gets under the itch for relief and help in healing. Cortisone 5, itch relief and help in healing.
If you have this much to read and you're only reading this much, then make yourself a super reading machine with the incredible Speed Reading hand video program. Learn the proven methods that can get you reading 3 to 5 times faster with better comprehension. Imagine being able to zip through novels, textbooks, business reports, and anything else with complete understanding. And it's so easy that anyone can learn to do it. The Speed Reading hand video program comes complete with a powerful study guide, but that's not all. As a bonus for ordering now, you'll also receive free the audio tape Super Memory Power, where you'll learn to memorize anything quickly and easily. And if you use your credit card to order right now, you'll also receive the audio tape Mastering Concentration, where you'll learn how to focus your mind to achieve all your goals. All this for the incredible low price of only $39.95, and it comes with a no-risk money-back guarantee. Call toll-free 1-800-TDC-8343. That's 1-800-TDC-8343. Use your Visa or MasterCard. Call now, 1-800-TDC-8343. Or send check or money order for $39.95 plus $3 shipping and handling to Speed Reading, Box 60668, Phoenix, Arizona, 85082.
Take a journey far from Earth. Begin your travel to the different planets. Then get carried away to the Milky Way and the galaxies beyond. See comets, meteors, quasars, an aurora, and supernovae. These are all featured players on the series Space Watch. Enjoy this comprehensive and entertaining introduction to space and astronomy, only on the Discovery Channel.
Let's not make any mistake. One 40-year-old military bomber that was never designed to do what it's attempting now, striking out alone across the Pacific on our way to Australia. Now, their first stop is 14 hours away, Hawaii. Now, to them, a pinpoint in a vast ocean. They've challenged fate to the great game. And all we can do is wish them Godspeed.
Now they have committed themselves, and each in his own way dwells on the finality of that. Committed to the machine, to its 40-year-old design and the 40 years of wear and tear. Anything can go wrong, from a blown cylinder to a 10-cent part in a fuel pump. And committed to the Pacific and the elements, to the wind and the weather. Headwinds of any strength could see them out of fuel short of Hawaii. It's the immutable facts about survival that keep them on edge. Uppermost in their minds for the first 4 hours is the knowledge that should an engine fail during that time, their all-up weight of plane plus fuel is greater than the other engine could handle, and the sea will have them. Beyond 4 hours, they will have burnt off enough fuel to still fly. But for how long? Then, after the point of no return, if their avionics, their radios and navigation aids fail, they have every chance of simply missing the island with no means of communicating their problem. They will have the meager consolation of knowing that several radar operators will be able to pinpoint their every move, and where they finally disappear from the radar screens. Despite all that, Hickam Air Force Base in Honolulu confidently cranks up its welcoming ceremonies.
Hey, Peter, you think that's the Y? Yeah, that's it. How'd you go? Like a Swiss watch. Oh, you better get like a trip down the road.
God bless her and all who sailed in her.
Coincidentally, tomorrow is an anniversary for Hawaii not celebrated in Champaign. The anniversary of a December day in 1941 that will live in infamy. After 3 days of welcome R&R in Honolulu, Australia and home beckons them. More than half their journey still lies ahead, and they start out to tackle it with new energy.
Washington, President Roosevelt pins the Congressional Medal of Honor on War Ace Colonel Jimmy Doolittle. Doolittle came back to active service to spearhead a daring first strike of 16 B-25s against the Japanese mainland, bombing Tokyo and other cities just 4 months after Pearl Harbor.
It was very, very rough. I mean, the wind was high, the seas were high, the carrier was pitching, the destroyer escorts was practically gone out of sight. But that was quite fortunate because with the 20-knot headwind and the 20-knot speed of the carrier gave us, in effect, a 40-knot wind before we even started to roll. So it made the takeoff a lot easier than what we expected. Everybody was rather sweating it out because it was only 400 feet of deck out there. I was number 4 to take off, and there wasn't, it was so damn busy that there wasn't much time to feel much of anything except to get things, get your crew aboard and get cranked up and get ready to roll when it was your turn. Ted Lawson, who wrote the books 30-Second Over Tokyo, sort of dropped off the end of the deck and tail slammed down towards the water, and he managed to get back in the air again. My target was a chemical plant in the northern part of Tokyo. My gun turret was inoperative, and we got jumped by some Zeros as we approached there. So picked out a target of opportunity, dropped the bombs, and just got the hell out of there as fast as I could.
We approached the targets right on the treetops, pulled up to about 1,500 feet, and dropped our bombs. We should like to have remained around to see exactly what had happened. This was impossible, as we were in a hurry.
The Doolittle raid came at the right time for the American people because we were still smarting from the attack on Pearl Harbor. Though little damage was done, it had its effect in a much bigger way, you see. No longer could the Japanese consider their homeland secure. If it happened once, it could happen again. Squadrons of fighters needed elsewhere were pulled back to guard the Japanese cities. 80 volunteers had cleared the deck of the Hornet that morning of April 1942. Their B-25s were the first Allied aircraft over Japan, and they weren't to be the last. As the tide of the battle began to turn.
The Discovery Channel, a journey into the future.
What burns calories faster than jogging? What's easier than cycling? What's the #1 fitness exercise in the world? It's cross-country skiing. Now, there's a cross-country skiing simulator that firms and tones the entire body and puts total fitness in easy reach of everyone. It's called Easy Glider, and it's the first ski simulator that's easy to afford. Just 20 minutes every other day. An hour a week is all it takes to strengthen and firm all major muscle groups and lose weight aerobically. Step on the glider pads. Set the tension control for desired resistance, and you're off on a road to fitness as invigorating as a cross-country run. With Easy Glider, you'll burn up to 400 calories per workout, and you'll feel great. Your reward is total fitness, improved endurance and energy, weight loss, superior toning of chest, arms and back, calves, thighs, and buttocks. The smooth, fluid gliding action means there's none of jogging shocks or injuries. And unlike exercise bikes or jogging, all of your muscles get an efficient workout. Notice the quality construction of the sturdy metal frame. This handsome unit folds down quickly for easy storage. Other ski simulators give your wallet a workout because they cost as much as $500. But Easy Glider is just $59.95, and your satisfaction is absolutely guaranteed. Finally, the benefits of cross-country skiing are in easy reach with Easy Glider. Grab the bargain. Call toll-free now.
To order your Easy Glider, call 1-800-346-6100. That's 1-800-346-6100. Use your credit card to avoid COD charges or send check or money order for $59.95 plus $9 shipping and handling to Easy Glider, Department 75, Canton, Ohio, 44750. That's the Easy Glider, Department 75, Canton, Ohio, 44750. But for faster service, call 1-800-346-6100.
Can you imagine what it would be like to have a beautiful mountain park in your backyard? Well, the citizens of Santa Monica enjoy such a luxury. They have a national park right in the middle of their city. Join the Discovery Channel as we examine the issues surrounding the conservation of our natural resources and share in the wonder of our natural world with Gem in the heart of the city. Sunday nights at 1 a.m. Eastern, 10 p.m. Pacific. TDC, the monthly guide to the Discovery Channel, is only $9.95. To receive a charter subscription to TDC, call this toll-free number, 1-800-TDC-8343. Once again, that number is 1-800-TDC-8343. For $9.95, get 12 complete issues of the Discovery Channel magazine, which includes complete listings of all the programs along with descriptions. Take advantage of this special offer and let TDC be your window on the world.
When your sore throat burns, every second counts.
I'm counting.
You want relief, and you want it now.
I want this pain out of here.
That means Chloraseptic, because only Chloraseptic has the powerful anesthetic phenol that penetrates nerve endings for relief in seconds. Relief so fast, the moment you feel it, we'll stop this commercial.
Hour after hour, mile upon mile. Noise, vibration, discomfort. 11 hours to their next landfall. Their only break in the monotony of sea and sky is tiny Johnson Island. It's off limits to all except the military, but just knowing it's there is some reassurance. 2,000 miles from Honolulu, Majuro in the Marshalls Group. The longest hops are behind them now, so no one's quite sure if this is the end of the beginning or the beginning of the end. This is the last outpost of America for them. They refuel without delay. Unexpectedly, there's a favorable tailwind, so there'll only be a short stopover. Already, the Pacific has put on a new face. The cloud formations are tropical, puffy cumulus so different from the pea soup of Stockton in late autumn. And there's now a sprinkling of atolls and islands to mark their passage. That's Nauru, just south of the equator, still strip mined for its phosphate ore. Peter, alone in the rear, ready if needed to pump oil to a blown engine, now fights boredom, his thoughts already turning to home. In a week, Bruce will be an airline captain again, flying 727s around Australia. Calm air, tranquil sea. The Pacific in her generous mood. Paul's a bush pilot from Alaska. This is a milk run for him. And then, 7 hours from Majuro, the last refueling stop before Australia, Honiara. Honiara still displays her origins. Examples of her World War II architecture are everywhere. The capital of the Solomon Islands, she was born of the necessities of war. Before 1942, there wasn't even a native hut standing here. It was this airfield that gave Honiara life. 40 years ago, it was bitterly fought over in one of the bloodiest battles of the war. Today, it takes its toll of the tired crew as they face up to the steamy heat. This is Henderson Field on the island of Guadalcanal. Here on Red Beach, the Marines stormed ashore and began the long and costly battle for the airfield. Both sides well knew that whoever controlled this controlled the island. The scars of battle have healed, and the jungle has reclaimed its own. Only here and there can reminders of the violent past be found. As a child, Rusty had first heard stories about this place from his father and uncle. They'd both seen action through here with the United States Navy. So for him, the opportunity to explore Guadalcanal has been worth all the long weeks of labor on engines and airframe back in Stockton, and the cramped, anxious hours in the belly of the B-25. The Battle of Guadalcanal endured for 6 months, not only on the island and in the air, but at sea. Nightly, convoys of the Japanese Imperial Navy, the Tokyo Express, would steam in at flank speed to shell the airfield and land fresh troops. All that remains of a Japanese landing craft. Iron Bottom Sound is a graveyard for warships. Out there on the bottom somewhere must be all that's left of PT-109. John F. Kennedy's torpedo boat. The original tower at Henderson Field still stands. After Guadalcanal, the ultimate fate of the Southwest Pacific War was sealed, though not before campaign after bitter campaign had been fought and won. In all this, the B-25 was to play a major part, delivering the war to the enemy.
Wait for it. Wait for it. That's it, boys. Australia. That's it over there off the starboard side. Can you see the beaches over there? Beauty.
After 2 years of negotiation, months of preparation and hard work, weeks of frustration, days of setbacks and disarray, and 40 anxious hours in the air, home, Sydney, Australia. They had done it. And the B-25 had performed perfectly. Eventually, she will stand with the other illustrious aircraft in the collection at the War Memorial in Canberra. But before that, there lie several good years of flying. A workhorse no longer, she will be pampered and preened, brought back to original condition with gun turrets and Australian service paint and markings. Her new owners wouldn't have it any other way. They know a champion when they see one.
When the Kansas City production line finally closed down in August of 1945, nearly 10,000 B-25s of all types had rolled out and taken wing. They had operated in every theater of the war with distinction because they were sturdy and forgiving. Air crews liked them. See, their chances were better. But of those that saw war's end, a few remain today. Time and the smelters have taken their toll. Once the Royal Australian Air Force operated 50 Mitchell B-25s. Now, the Australian people own one again.
Yeah, well done, Pete. Well done. Douglas, you must be happy. Welcome home.
Thank you. It's very good to be home.
Nice
Very
to be
good.
here, isn't it?
Yes, you got
One of the American guys?
This is Paul Weston.
Hello, Paul. Welcome to Sydney. I'm the Lord Mayor.
Lord Mayor, sir.
Congratulations.
How do you do?
Congratulations, Roger.
Pleasure.
Well done.
Thank you.
Tremendous.
You sitting in the front, were you?
No, not this time. That was you was steering, were you?
Nice to meet you.
Congratulations.
Thank
Well
you very
done.
much.
It's a great effort.
How are you?
Australia's response to marathon aviation efforts more than it does to anything else. And it's in great shape, too. It's wonderful to see it preserved. And the concept is magnificent to have this flying exhibit at our Canberra War Memorial Museum. You'll be thrilled when you see the museum.
Well, I'm certainly looking forward to it. Tell about it, Randy.
It's tremendous. The friendship brought in the war during our greatest time of strife and